PNC Park in Pittsburgh, dramatic game here last night. We're back again tonight. Game 2 of this 3-game series by the river in downtown Pittsburgh. Last night, the Pirates' Major League leading 8th walk-off win after Wade Miley was sensational for 8 innings. Tonight, Chase Anderson looks to match that effort as the D-backs take on the veteran Charlie Morton. Greetings from PNC Park. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly along the way. Game 2 of 3, the D-backs and Pirates here in downtown Pittsburgh. Bob, last night, no question, that was a tough one for D-backs fans.
Yeah, that one really hurt. I think Todd hit the nail on the head in the pregame show. Sometimes you take a loss, the team played better than you, and you go home and forget about it and come back the next day. But that one was a tough one to take last night. When your closer gives it up late in the ballgame, those really hurt. You take those back to the hotel with you. We've seen Addison Reed recently at his best. When he's bouncing that slider in the dirt as he does here earlier this season. Another one here at Petco Park against the Padres earlier in this road trip. Had a really good slider in San Diego. Unfortunately, he threw 2 good ones to Starling Marte. Well, that was actually the second one, the really good one, off the plate away. But then these guys are humans. As I said, they make mistakes, and Addison Reed made a mistake at the wrong time. Left a slider right in the middle of the plate. That one got banged off the wall in center, and his manager, Kirk Gibson, had something to say about it.
Who said he wasn't?
No, I didn't say he wasn't. I said he's still your guy.
Well, why would you ask?
Well, sometimes after.
Yeah, well, because the guy had a tough inning. I mean, I write stuff on the back of my car. It's just pretty lengthy last night. We should have got the bunt down too in the 9th inning. That would have been big. So I don't think you. I understand how you can sit and look at it. He made a real bad 0-2 pitch to Marte, and it really changed the whole game. Well, he's 17 out of 21. He's blown 4 games. I think he's been pretty good.
Well, Bob, as Kirk Gibson mentioned last night, the game is a series of executions. They have a closer they like a lot, a guy who's executed well a lot of times, and you just can't do it every time.
Well, you can't do it every time, and he has been good for the most part all season long. You just hope he gets another save opportunity today.
Well, let's hope so, and hopefully Chase Anderson can match what Wade Miley did here last night after he was sensational for 8 innings. It's another look at the MVP battle. Paul Goldschmidt and Andrew McCutchen, D-backs and Pirates, when we come back. Brenly, Todd Walsh along the way. Diamondbacks and the Pirates. Pittsburgh beginning play today, tied with the Reds for 3rd in the National League Central, 6.5 games behind division leading Milwaukee. Brewers lost again today. at Toronto. And so the Diamondbacks, who watched Wade Miley dazzle for 8 innings last night, are behind Chase Anderson here tonight in game 2 of the 3-game set, and they will face 30-year-old right-hander Charlie Morton. He has pitched better than his 4-9 record would indicate. His pitching coach is Ray Searage.
Charlie has probably got one of the best sinkers in baseball, but he's getting a lot of strikeouts too, and he's got that extra mile per hour in the tank when he needs it. And the biggest thing that Charlie is working on is getting ahead and utilizing that sinker and being able to use that curveball and the split and the whole 9 yards into that repertoire and keeping hitters off balance.
Charlie Morton coming off a pair of losses, although he pitched very well his last time out, a career-high 11 strikeouts, Bob, last Wednesday at Tampa Bay.
Yeah, as a comparison, he's a little bit like Brandon McCarthy. You heard his pitching coach Ray Searage talk about that heavy sinker, the curveball. Brandon doesn't throw a splitter. Charlie Morton does, but very similar in style of getting out opposing hitters.
You can see right there, Pirates just didn't get him any run support in that ball game. He was stuck with his 9th loss of the season. There's strike 1 to Ender Inciarte, back in the leadoff spot for the D-backs. Ender 1 for 5 last night. Lines that one into right. Gregory Polanco got a bad read there, a momentary pause, but he collects it for the first out of the ball game. The rookie Polanco getting the start in right field today. This is the lineup for Kirk Gibson's Arizona Diamondbacks.
And we've seen Ender Inciarte at the top of the order once again tonight. Gerardo Parra batting second. Paul Goldschmidt in his customary 3 spot. Miguel Montero riding a 6-game hitting streak with a homer and 7 driven in. Aaron Hill at second base. David Peralta out in left field. Martin Prado at third base. Didi Gregorius gets to start at shortstop tonight. And right-hander Chase Anderson on the mound for the D-backs.
Gerardo Parra. Strike 1. Our plate umpire tonight is Marvin Hudson. Parra 257 and 5 homers. Checked into the ball game late last night, made a nice sliding catch in right field, and then had a 9th-inning single. But he's down 0-2 here.
Oh, by the way, I'm in Marvin Hudson's book too. He got me at Shea Stadium.
Well, you survived in Shea Stadium, didn't you? Charlie Morton gets the strikeout, his first tonight, 2 down.
And Marvin Hudson survived.
Well, I'm sorry that you had an incident with him. I'm a fan because he gives you the emphatic and immediate strike call.
Well, I don't have any issues with Marvin personally. I just had a question in one of his calls at second base. I think I've told the story in the past. Hot day at Shea Stadium, and I went out to argue, and I said, Marvin, are you okay? He said, that sun's awful hot. That's the only explanation I can think of for you missing that call, and that was it. See you later.
So you thought sarcasm was the best approach there.
Well, I was just concerned for his safety.
As you are with all umpires. And here we go again with Paul Goldschmidt back at 300 for the year, 4th in the league in OPS, just 1 spot behind Andrew McCutchen. With Miguel Montero on deck. Goldie gets something to swing at there. It's 2-1. There have only been 4 days all year when Paul Goldschmidt's batting average began with a 2. And he is back at 300 tonight. The question is, will he get something to swing at? He was on base 3 times last night, a walk and a pair of singles. Lines that one into right center field, and Goldie's got himself a base hit. Polanco will not cut it off. It dies on the warning track, and Paul Goldschmidt has his 29th double of the year. And he has now reached base safely in 23 straight games.
Charlie Morton trying to throw that sinker to the outside corner. You see where Russell Martin set up. Unfortunately for Charlie, left it up and out over the plate, and Goldie made him pay. Roped that ball into the gap in right center.
Well, he has gotten a few pitches to hit, a couple of base hits last night, a leadoff double here today. A 2-out base runner for Miguel Montero. Miggy 264 on the year, 11 home runs. Diamondbacks in that 5th inning last night got a couple of big 2-out RBI hits, Montero and Hill. Need another one right here in the 1st. Miggy 1 for 4 last night. Drove in the game's first run without 2-out RBI single. He also scored a run. 1-1. .264, 11 homers, matching last year's total. Now with 48 RBIs, already ahead of last year's number. Almost 7:15 local time here, and it was a bright sunny day. You can see Marte in left and McCutchen in center, the only two guys out there defensively really fighting the sun right now. Everyone else is in the shadow. 2 balls and a strike to Miguel Montero. This is inside, and it's 3-1. Aaron Hill, who had the other big 2-out RBI single last night, is on deck. Starling Marte. Sunny night out there in left. We got lucky again with the weather. Not a hot day here today. Not quite as humid and stormy as yesterday. But sticky. 3-1. Hold on.
That's a little half of an inside move to second base. Usually pitchers do that when they're not quite sure that's the pitch they want to throw. Rather than shake off the catcher, he's already come to a set position. Just fake a pickoff throw, make Russell Martin go through another set of signs.
A 2-out double is followed by a base on balls. Let's take a look at the Pirates defensively. We've shown you Marte in left and McCutchen in center.
And Gregory Polanco made the catch on Ender Inciarte's ball. He'll be out in right field. Pedro Alvarez, Jordy Mercer on the left side of the infield. Neil Walker and Valley resident Ike Davis on the right side of the infield for the Pirates. Russell Martin doing the catching once again for right-hander Charlie Morton.
2 on, 2 out for Aaron Hill. Aaron Hill, 248, 6 homers. 1 for 4 last night without RBI single. Chance to put the Diamondbacks on the board right out of the gate here in the first. 1-1. You can get to Charlie Morton early in games. Clint Hurdle says sometimes Morton can come out a little too amped up when he starts and has a tendency to leave some fastballs up in the zone. And he likes the way he comes out with high energy. Just got to corral it a little bit. That's a slow roll with the short. Mercer to Walker to get the force on Montero. That's the inning. Diamondbacks Grand 2 just underway here in Pittsburgh. Marlins, they started the season 10-18, but since then the Pirates have played at a pace that's 11 over 500. And since early May, they have the best record in the National League. They are up against tonight D-backs rookie right-hander Chase Anderson. He won his first 5 major league starts. He has lost his last 3. Question is, what does he have to do to be successful here tonight?
If I can have my fastball command in and out and locate up and down too, I think I can be very successful. Then be able to throw my changeup for strikes, early contact when I'm behind in that fastball count. They're looking for a fastball, throw the changeup or the curveball to catch them off guard and then kind of mix the pitches. But as long as I can establish the fastball and mix my curveball and my changeup in there, I think I'll be fine.
The numbers on Chase Anderson. Bob, he's a man with a plan, it sounds like.
Well, and that's the plan that he needs to stick with. We've talked about it in past starts when he's locating that fastball, keeping it out of the middle of the plate, and then mixing in the curveball and the straight changeup when he needs to throw a strike. That's when he's at his best. Unfortunately, a couple of starts recently, he's made some mistakes with that fastball over the middle of the plate, and the opposing team has hit it hard.
And there you see, before every start, he draws the initials in the dirt of the pitcher's mound, RDA for his late father, Robert, the initials of 2 other grandparents. The numbers from his last time out a week ago today at Chase Field against the Indians: 4 runs on 7 hits, needed 93 pitches to get through 5 innings, gave up a pair of homers. And our first extended look at rookie sensation Gregory Polanco in the leadoff spot, playing right field tonight for the Pirates. Through his first 20 games in the big league, sitting just under 300. Polanco had a pinch hit single in the 9th last night. He was the last hitter that Wade Miley faced, and later came across to score the tying run on Starling Marte's double. An exciting young player. Good lanky guy, 6'4", 220. 22 years old. Yes, he wins, says Doug Eddings.
Now the #1 position player prospect. You see he's reached base safely in 18 of his 20 big league games. Said to be the best average hitter, fastest base runner, and best defensive outfielder.
Hammers that one to right field, and it's off the wall. And Gregory Polanco is on the run. Gerardo Parra cannot pick it up on the track, and here comes Polanco in at third. We'll see how they score that. It was right in front of Gerardo Parra, and he just couldn't pick it up.
Oh, it struck well to right field on a line, hit on that out-of-town scoreboard. And just mentioned Polanco was voted best speed in the Pirates organization. Lost his footing right there around second base, had to change directions to step on the bag with both feet, and had Parra pick that ball up cleanly on the first or the second try, they probably get him at third base. But by the time Parra gets it back into Didi Gregorius at second base, Polanco's in at third.
Not the prettiest route around the bases you'll ever see, but effective. Starling Marte, speaking of which, right behind Nick Leyva, third base coach down there. 0-1 on Marte. He's in there at 259 and 5 homers. They do rule that a triple for Gregory Polanco, his first career triple. And he's at third base with nobody out. Marte hot right now. Big 2-run double off Addison Reed that tied it in the 9th last night. This is on the ground. It'll get a run home. Didi Gregorius throws it out. 1-0 Pirates. Let's take a look at Quinn Hurdle's Pittsburgh lineup tonight.
Now we've seen Polanco at the top, Marte batting second, Andrew McCutchen in the 3 spot. Neil Walker playing second base and cleaning up. Russell Martin doing the catching. Ike Davis with the big pinch hit single in the 9th inning last night to win it for the Buccos. Pedro Alvarez at third base. Jordy Mercer at shortstop, and Charlie Morton, the right-hander, on the mound for the Pirates.
They have now changed the scoring on the Polanco hit. Take away the triple. It's a double and an error. E9 on Gerardo Parra. A rare one for the 2-time Gold Glover out there. So double for Polanco, E9. 1-0 Pittsburgh. 0-1 on Andrew McCutchen. Make it 0-2 now. McCutchen 310, 12 homers. 8th in the National League in hitting. He's leading the league in walks, 3rd in OPS, just ahead of Paul Goldschmidt. Amazing how similar these guys can be statistically in terms of the walks, the on-base percentage, the RBI production, the batting average. The numbers always very similar in so many categories, including the MVP voting, where they were 1 and 2. McCutchen has been to 3 All-Star games, never as a starter. Looks like that's about to change, so he and Goldie should both be in the starting lineup July 15th on Fox from Target Field in Minneapolis. In fact, McCutchen leads all National League outfielders in voting, ahead of Carlos Gomez and Yasiel Puig. He would be just the 7th Pirate ever to get a starting nod from the fan voting, and the first since Jason Bay in 06. Chase Anderson strikes out the reigning NL MVP. 2 outs. Take a look at the updated voting. Goldie picked up a whole bunch of votes. He now leads by 1 million over Mark Reynolds at first base.
Yeah, don't look now, but Brewers are popping up all over the leaderboard. Mark Reynolds in second place at first base. Ramos Ramirez took over the lead at third base. I think Gene Segura is right behind Troy Tulowitzki at shortstop. They're stuffing the ballot box up there at Miller Park.
Yeah, Reynolds passed Adrian Gonzalez for second among first base votes. Neil Walker, the switch hitting second baseman, is in there in the cleanup spot. Takes ball 1.
I think all 3 Brewer outfielders are in the top 7 in the National League voting.
Amazing. They have guys that are seemingly having career years. With Gomez, who was good last year, of course, and Lucroy. Scooter Gennett has had a great year at second base. This guy's not bad either there. 273, 11 homers, 1 for 3 last night. Smacks that one into right for a 2-out single.
While we have a moment, let's take a look at our Valley Honda dealer keys to the game. With that guy Morton on the mound for the Pirates. Sorry, Charlie, not tonight. And for Chase Anderson, don't change a thing. The changeup is his out pitch. It's his best pitch, and one he's going to rely on heavily tonight. He struck out Andrew McCutchen with a changeup down and in.
I'll try to avoid the extended inning here at 15 pitches now. Russell Martin, the catcher, steps in. Russell Martin, 266, 4 home runs. He was 1 for 3 last night. He singled and struck out twice. In fact, Martin has now struck out 12 times in his last 32 at bats. He's become a little strikeout prone lately. New career highs in strikeouts each of the last 2 years for Russell Martin. Struck out more than 20% of the time last year, but he's ahead here 2-0. Gets one at the knees, 2-1. It's almost like you can see Chase trying to work in, trying to work away, trying to spot it at the knees, maybe elevate once in a while. Things we just heard him talk about.
Yeah, ideally, the only pitch he throws to the middle of the plate would be the curveball in fastball counts, figuring that the hitter's not going to be looking for it, and also the straight changeup in what would be normally a fastball count. Everything else he tries to keep on the corners.
This is there, and it's 3-1. The problem there is, with Ike Davis on deck, if you're not hitting those corners, you find yourself in a lot of 3-1 counts. And now about to throw his 20th pitch of this first inning with 1 run already in.
And Miguel Montero trying to slow Chase Anderson down just a little bit. He too may have a little extra adrenaline pumping here in the first inning.
Good pitch there, and it's full 3-2. It is a hot night here. Mentioned that. You can see Chase has already worked up a pretty good sweat. But when you grew up in Texas, went to school in Oklahoma, this is nothing. 3 and 2, 2 outs. Walker off from first with a pitch. There he goes. It's fouled away. We'll do it again. Walker takes off. Martin drives it into left. It's in front of Peralta for a base hit. And the inning continues. Third Pirate hit in this inning. That'll bring up Ike Davis, who of course had the pinch hit walk-off single last night against Addison Reed. The 8th walk-off win of the year for the Pirates, the most of the major leagues.
Yeah, Ike Davis himself, even after the ball game, said it was a good pitch, a 92-mile-an-hour cutter that got right in on his hands, but strong enough to muscle it over Goldie's head into right field for the game winner.
So here is Ike Davis, former Met, 254 and 4 homers. Pittsburgh picked him up April 18th, a trade with the Mets, who got a pair of minor leaguers in return. Two on, 2 out. Davis coming off a poor month of June. He hit over, well, just barely over 180 in 25 games, 20 of them starts. And then 4 extra base hits all month. But managed to get the big hit last night. Ball 1. Walker at second, Martin at first. Walker getting happy feet down there at second. Miguel Montero thought about a throw down there, but Walker back at the bag okay. It's 1-1.
Miggy kind of jumps out from behind home plate in that fake pickoff to throw to second base. That pitch just off the outside corner, and Marvin Hudson gave it to Chase Anderson that time.
Must be the heat.
Must be the heat. Marvin, you all right?
1-1.
If he's going to call a strike out there, go right back out there again.
Now 25 pitches for Chase Anderson, who has not been able to settle into a rhythm. Had a base runner aboard, 1 batter in. Just missed away there. Up this time. 2-1. I imagine it's a world of difference when you can go out there and just have a nice quick 1-2-3 inning as a starting pitcher and just kind of start your rhythm, get established. But Chase has had the opposite experience here tonight. In trouble immediately.
Well, you want to get a feel for the game mound. Ideally, get 3 quick outs, get back in the dugout, and then really get your mind in gear for what lays ahead the rest of the evening.
2-2. Missed with that one, and it's full. Big Pedro Alvarez would be next. Walker at second, Martin at first. They'll be running on the pitch. 3-2, 2 outs. There go the runners. Swung on and missed. Second strikeout in the inning. Anderson strands 2, but the Pirates get 1. And through 1, they lead it 1-0. Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by CenturyLink, your link to what's next, and by Jack in the Box. If the D-backs hit a home run today, score a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow with a purchase of a large drink. The Ohio, the Monongahela, and the Allegheny, the Three Rivers area here. Lots of Diamondback fans, as usual, making the trip out. This is a destination ballpark, no question about it, for baseball fans all over the country. Ball 1 to David Peralta. Another start in left field for Peralta tonight. And 309 on the year and 2 homers.
Pirates have been drawing well this year. They just completed a 4-game series against the Mets before the Diamondbacks rolled into town. Drew over 150,000 people.
Yeah, if you can get away at some point this summer, circle a Pirate schedule and get out here. Maybe sometime when the Diamondbacks are on the road, and check out this ballpark because it is a jewel. David Peralta, another 2-hit game last night. His 11th multi-hit game out of the 26 he's played in the major leagues. Leadoff walk. Fans, FoxSportsArizona.com. All the online local sports coverage you won't find anywhere else. BB, there is more news on Brett Michaels, your boy.
Good, good.
He had a conversation with Todd Walsh talking about his split baseball loyalties between the D-backs and the Pirates. Apparently also took some batting practice. Look at post-game reaction from the Diamondback clubhouse and the latest updates on free agents in the NBA and the NHL. All that and more. FoxSportsArizona.com. Martin Prado batting 7th tonight. 266 on the year. Was there any fallback from your brutal attack on the music of Poison in yesterday's broadcast?
Well, you know, music is very much a personal thing. You know, some people like opera, some people like rock and roll, some people like country. I'm just not crazy about the hair bands.
It's hard to blame you. 0-1 to Prado. Although we like that Brett is a big baseball fan. Always good to see. He's had a lot of D-backs and Pirates games when he's here in town anyway. Other than that, he's at Chase Field a lot. Got to talk to a bunch of Diamondback fans here during batting practice. They made the trip out. Oh, strike 3. Marvin Hudson rings up Prado. Second strikeout for Morton, who's also walked 2.
Big wraparound curveball that time. Kind of started it right at Martin Prado. Broke it back to the inside corner. And he got the call that time from Marvin Hudson.
Well, it's been a strange season for Charlie Morton as Didi Gregorius steps in. He got off to a terrible start. He was 0-6. Even though he really wasn't pitching all that badly, the ERA was under 3.5 during that 0-6 stretch. Pirates did not get him any run support. That's when they really had that slow start in April, 10-18 out of the gate. Morton finally got his first win on May 23rd. And since then, he's gone 4-3 in 7 starts.
Hey fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. A day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com.
So that pitch that rung up Prado that had that crazy movement. Morton can make the baseball do a lot of things. Sometimes, though, he will lose control. He has already walked 2. Trying to come inside here on Didi to throw over, and Peralta's back inside. Morton leads all major league pitchers with 15 hit batters this year. He's already hit 15 guys. In fact, he's got 5 more than the next 2 guys.
Were they all Reds? The Reds and the Pirates have had some beanball wars over the last couple of years, back and forth.
So you may see a guy or 2 get plunked tonight. There's called strike 2.
I would classify this a slurve.
Why?
Yeah, it just has that diagonal movement.
Like a slider.
Well, a slider is more short and sharp and has a lot of downward movement, and it breaks very late. That's just a big old slurvy. I would call it an American Legion slurve. Very effective.
Because it's not a pure curveball.
A pure curveball really is what they used to call a drop ball. We talk about the 12-6 break. If you picture the numbers on a clock, a pure curveball breaks from 12 to 6 straight down. A slider has rotation almost like a spiral football, and it causes it to break down and away from a right-handed hitter, from a right-handed pitcher. But this one's kind of in the middle. It has that downward tilt, but it's a little bit slower and has big sweep to it. I'd say it's a good pitch if you can command it, because it has such a large break on it. Very tough to square it up, very tough to hang in there as a right-handed hitter when he starts that slurvy breaking ball right at him.
I imagine it's also one that you're dealing with such a large sweep that it can be hard to place where you want it at times.
Yep, tough to command.
0-2 on Gregorius. David Peralta, the runner at first, 1 out.
When he throws that particular pitch to a left-handed hitter, as we just saw right there to Didi, if it ends up on the inside part of the plate, it's probably going to be hooked foul down the right field line. Very tough to keep it fair. It's an off-speed delivery, so you're going to be a little bit out in front of it naturally. And then the movement on the ball coming inside, you have to be really quick with your hands, and more often than not, you're going to pull it foul.
This is there. It was a 5-pitch walk to Peralta. But then 8 straight strikes before the 1-2 pitch to Gregorius. Chase Anderson on deck. This is lifted in the air along the left field line and drifting foul. Peralta had started with the pitch and broke toward the bag at second, then stumbled and fell down and got back up. Oh, lost his footing after he got the read on Morton.
They're kind of favoring that left leg, maybe the left ankle over there at first base. Not sure exactly what happened.
8th pitch of the at-bat on the way to Didi Gregorius. Didi hit his first triple of the season Saturday in San Diego. He was on base 3 times in that ball game. Went 2 for 6 in the series. Ollie Morton, another New England guy from Reading, Connecticut, and saw Jeff Locke last night from North Conway, New Hampshire. 1-2. Check swing. He did not go as his Doug Eddings at third, and it's 2-2.
Nice job by Didi. Strong wrist, strong forearms right there to be able to hold that bat up.
And that more athletic stance, much more crouched, knees bent, much more so than last year. Going to go outside this time. It got through. Martin Peralta advances. Boy, Morton missed his spot by a lot there. Kind of yanked this one.
Yeah, you see Russell Martin moves clear over in the right-handed batter's box, and Morton pulls it back to the inside corner on a left-handed hitter. Went right through the legs of Marvin Hudson all the way to the backstop.
So now Peralta at second. Full count on Didi Gregorius. 11th pitch of the AB coming up. Ball 4. Third walk already issued by Charlie Morton for 1 1/3.
Well, high pitch counts are nothing unusual for Charlie Morton. 10 times this year already he's gone over 100, a high of 114 on the season.
Well, Clint Hurdle wants him to take all that energy that he comes out with and do a better job of focusing it. Just a matter of making pitches when he needs to make them and establish himself early, but he has not done that so far tonight. A double and a walk in the first, a pair of walks here in the second, and the D-backs have 2 on, 1 out for Chase Anderson. And you see Ike Davis at first, creeping in on the edge of the grass.
Ideally, Chase gets this bunt down to the third base side of the field. As you mentioned, Ike Davis starting very shallow and charging hard, and being a left-handed thrower, it's a very easy play for him to scoop a bunt and throw over to third base to get the lead runner. So you want to bunt it toward Pedro Alvarez at third, make him come in and make the play.
Alvarez charging on the left-hand side of your picture. Davis on the right. Diamondbacks pitchers have not been as successful in getting bunts down as you'd like to see, certainly. Couldn't get it done in the 9th inning last night. Is that something you think that National League pitchers are getting away from with more and more interleague play now, and they're hitting more? You think it would improve?
You would think so. Yeah, it should be an advantage for the National League teams when they play against an American League ball club. And Chase Anderson has actually been pretty good in the early part of his career here. Takes a call, third strike right there. He's gotten down a couple of 2-strike bunts to move runners up, but not this time.
An unproductive out. 2 down now, Ender Inciarte. Kirk Gibson, we heard at the top of the show, said he had written a lot of things down on the back of his note card, his scorecard, and one of them was couldn't get the bunt down in the 9th last night, and that's the case in the second here tonight. Ender lined out to right his first time.
Diamondbacks had opportunities early in that ball game last night. They left 2 on in the first, 2 more in the second, and then 1 in the third, the fourth, and the fifth.
This is bounced to second. High hop for Walker, who has to go upstairs to get it. But Morton strands a pair of walks in the inning. Neil Walker, the Pittsburgh native, goes top shelf on the high hop to get Inciarte. D-backs trail at 1-0. for its second year. Hurry into participating Circle K locations. Purchase any 2 28-ounce Gatorade or G2 thirst quenchers. You'll get a text code and keyword on your receipt for your chance to attend a batting practice, get a customized jersey, a Chase Field tour, and a whole lot more. Fuel up with the D-backs before the offer ends on July 14th. Gatorade, win from within. Pedro Alvarez leads off the Pittsburgh second against Chase Anderson. Ball 1 to Alvarez, third baseman at 239 and 13 homers. And Clint Hurdle on the Pirates pregame show yesterday was asked about Pedro Alvarez, and Hurdle said, "I'm not impressed. He can do better." There's been some discussion about a lack of production for a guy who finished last year tied with Paul Goldschmidt for the league lead in homers. He's under 240 on the year batting average wise. And Clint Hurdle said, you can look at numbers, you can cherry pick if you want, but he's done more than this. And Andrew McCutchen said the same thing. He can do better. He's hitting 7th in the lineup. That should tell you something. Hits away from the shift and spanks it into left.
Certainly understandable that his manager and teammates expect more from Pedro Alvarez, but the one thing he provides to his Pirates offense down there at the bottom of the order is the ability to blow a game wide open with one swing of the bat. This isn't it. Little chopper through the left side, nobody over there. Leadoff single for Alvarez, but he's a guy, if you make a mistake, he can hit it in the river.
Well, Clint Hurdle also said, look, this is a guy who has the ability to square up balls, to drive in runs, score runs. They need him to be a more consistent run producer. And he's not done that yet this year. Shortstop Jordy Mercer. Now, do you subscribe to the theory with all these defensive overshifts that if you have a guy like Pedro Alvarez, who's a threat to leave the ballpark at any time, and you hold him to a little slap single the other way, in one sense the shift has worked? What do you think about that argument?
I think in some instances that's true. I mean, you keep him in the ballpark, you've got him on at first base. He's not a fast runner.
This one is line to center for a base hit. Alvarez had to hold up a bit. That was hit so hard to Ender Inciarte, but the first two have reached against Anderson here in the second.
However, leading off an inning, all you're looking for is a base runner. Put that pitcher in the stretch, give the manager some options, pushing buttons over there in the dugout, and occasionally when you're leading off an inning, a little ground ball through the left side where a couple of positions have been vacated. That works.
Well, the Pirates, Bob, already have 5 base hits against Chase Anderson through 1+. Several of them have been pretty hard hit. He was in trouble in the first, gave up a run, and he's in immediate trouble in the second. And here is Charlie Morton. 223. And we'll see if he can get the bunt down.
He's got 6 on the season, leads the Pirates staff in that particular category.
You see Paul Goldschmidt, right-hand side of your picture, kind of kitty cornered there. Comes crashing in along with Prado from third. Wheel play is on. Second base unoccupied. They throw to first where Aaron Hill is covering, but Mercer is back in time.
I mentioned Pedro Alvarez, the runner at second base, not the most fleet of foot in the Pirates lineup tonight, so the Diamondbacks try the old wheel play, hoping to get the lead runner at third base. Boy, and Miguel Montero has to know on the wheel play there's not going to be anybody at second base. His first look was to second, and then he picked up the runner at first, and by then it was too late. Mercer had a chance to get back.
The wheel play, you're intentionally leaving second base undefended?
Yeah, you want to get the lead runner at third base if at all possible. And generally that's determined by the speed of the runners that you have on base. Sometimes the speed of the guy bunting. I've seen, and we've actually run this play before, where you try to turn a double play. If you have a slow runner at first and a slow runner at the plate, charge both corners. The shortstop covers second, the second baseman covers first. You leave third base completely unoccupied and try to turn the double play up the middle of the field.
It is something to see all 4 infielders sprinting to different spots all at the same moment. The corner guys come running in. The shortstop and second baseman run to each side of the infield. Didi kind of halfway there between second and third.
And that's what you're supposed to do as a potential bunter at the plate. If you see that infield all broken up with guys running all over the place, I mean, if you don't hit it directly at a defender, you've got a good chance of getting a base hit into the outfield right there. But Morton fouled that one back.
Up and in that time, 1-2.
That was close. Yeah, Miggy wants that ball up. That's right over the helmet of Charlie Morton. And then Miguel Montero, faking that throw to second base, knocks off Marvin Hudson's mask behind home plate. It's supposed to be a non-contact sport.
Goldie and Chase Anderson discussing their various options defensively now with a 1-2 count. Morton squares again and gets it down. They have a play at third. You called it. Charlie Morton bunts into 2 outs.
Well, it all works because Morton put down a poor bunt. Miguel Montero fields it cleanly as a clear throwing lane right to third base, and Martin Prado with the slow-moving Charlie Morton running turns it into a double play. Nicely done.
Well executed by the D-backs that time. And so you've got Neil Walker, or pardon me, Jordy Mercer as the runner at second, 2 outs now, and Gregory Polanco, the rookie, steps in. Polanco doubled the lead off the ball game for the Pirates, went to third on an error by Gerardo Parra and scored on a Marte groundout. And that's been the game's only run so far. Talked to Quinn Hurdle before the ball game today, and he said the thing that stands out to him with this kid, 22 years old, from the Dominican Republic, is his poise. He has an excellent grasp of his surroundings, and he just likes where the kid's head is at. Very advanced in terms of his maturity and the way he deals with everything that's going on around him. And there was a lot when he hit safely in his first 11 major league games. 310 as the leadoff man this year.
78 stolen bases the last 2 years at the minor league level for Polanco.
He was hitting .347 in AAA when he was called up.
Most runs through his first 21 major league games.
Marvell win.
Marvell, how about that? Of course, everybody remembers Dino Rastelli.
Who could forget? Two balls and a strike. Chase Anderson, 43 pitches through 1 2/3.
Like it might be another abbreviated night for Chase Anderson. Has to find a way to be a little more economical with his pitches, try to get some early weak contact, which I'm sure he's trying to do. But these Pirates are making him throw the ball over the plate.
Needed 93 pitches just to get through 5 in his last start against Cleveland. This is well hit to right field. Gerardo Parra will watch it go. Gregory Polanco, his third, and it's 3-0 Pirates. Well, the kid is 2 for 2 tonight, and he scored twice.
And we're in the second inning. Boy, he waited on that curveball. Let it get deep in the hitting zone, right down there in his happy zone. Like a lot of lefties, he's a real good low ball hitter and golfs that one out of here to right field. Parra barely moved out there in right.
He was a spectator on that one as it cleared that 21-foot high fence out there. Breaking ball in there for a strike to Starling Marte, who drove in the first Pirate run with an RBI ground out his first time up. Pirates had 6 hits last night. They have 6 hits tonight through 10 batters against Chase Anderson. Well, you can see why they are so excited here about 22-year-old Gregory Polanco. Ninth home run given up in 9 starts for Chase Anderson this year. He's ahead of Marte, 1-2. Called strike 3, third strikeout for Anderson. But Gregory Polanco's 3rd major league homers made it 3-0 Pirates.
No, it doesn't. Go work on that microphone.
I will.
We'll take care of these.
There you go.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Steve, I know you already went there, but there's a chocolate strawberry combo.
Thanks, man.
Oh, nice.
And there's the sea salt caramel. Take it up.
Here we go.
Oh, sea salt caramel.
These are the $9 shakes that they have at PNC Park.
By the way,
so
this is actually called a taxi cab to the stadium. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good.
I got you.
It actually costs more than a taxi cab to the stadium.
Hey! Come on.
Oh, sorry.
My goodness.
No, they're $9 a piece.
Which is,
I hope Mitch Riggin is paying for this. That's all I have to say.
You guys enjoy this.
Thank you, Todd. That's very nice of you.
How are they? Did you have one?
They're solid.
They're solid. Okay.
Yeah, the sea salt, like I said, never made it out of the elevator. Sea salt caramel.
Yeah.
This is
Have you already had a sea salt caramel?
I've had one. Yeah.
I'll trade you that.
No.
I haven't. I'll trade you the vanilla for the sea salt
No,
caramel.
that's just chocolate.
Oh, I'll take the vanilla back then. Thank you.
You're that guy, aren't you? All right.
Apparently.
The place is Burger. It's high-end burgers down there.
Yeah.
I don't play it, and they're doing a bang-up job.
They have gourmet burgers, and they sell at that stand $9 milkshakes at PNC Park. So, as John Travolta said in Pulp Fiction, as you mentioned, Bob, last night, I got to get me one of those $9 milkshakes.
I'll try a $9 milkshake. See what makes it so special.
But what was in the briefcase? That's what I want to know. Do you
We
know
never
that?
did find out, did we?
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
These days.
Probably the recipe for a $9 milkshake.
Or the money for one.
Or a mic that works.
Cotton
Okay, I'm going
candy
to go
a
work on the
little
mic,
cheaper.
okay?
All right. Thanks,
Enjoy.
Thanks, Todd.
Just remember, I know a guy who will take care of you.
All right.
Do you know a microphone guy?
No. I'm not good at that.
Gerardo Parra grounds out to open up the third. Morton now over 50 pitches, and he throws ball one to Paul Goldschmidt, who doubled his first time up. Well, that was nice of Todd to hand deliver a couple of shakes. Goldie lines that into center. Well, I don't know about this new era thing where he's not getting any pitches to hit. He had 2 base hits last night. He's 2 for 2 tonight.
Both of them right off the barrel. A double to the gap in right center, and then that line drive in the straightaway center. Both barreled up by Goldie.
A 1-out base runner. How is yours, by the way?
Pretty tasty. We need a pitching change or something right about now.
Drink this thing, I'm going to need a nap. Miguel Montero walked his first time. One of 3 walks issued in the ballgame so far by Charlie Morton. He has walked 3, struck out 3. Maybe got all tied up inside there. Did not go, says Doug Eddings at third. Miguel Montero, a 6-game hitting streak. He's hit safely in 7 of his last 8. My wife is at the ballpark. She made the trip out. She had one of these at the game last night. It was Raven.
I can see why. Pretty tasty.
Killed one.
What we need now is a box of Girl Scout cookies, and I'm set.
Put your feet up. Do the game. .50 pitches now for Charlie Morton. 30 for strikes.
Charlie Morton doesn't have a really good pickoff move. He'll throw over there just to keep runners honest, to make sure they're not getting a walking lead, but he's not going to fool anybody with his pickoff move over to first base. Big, tall, long-legged guy. Takes him a while to unwind over there to first base.
Coming inside here. Boy, these are good. While you were talking, I was having some. 3-1 now.
Relatively high pitch count for both guys here in the early going of this game. Could be a night of bullpen work here after the 5th inning or so.
Well, Wade Riley gave them 8+ last night.
Boy, was he good.
Woo. Sensational. And don't forget, coming off a day off on Monday, so the bullpen is pretty well rested. Swing and bunt in front of the plate area. Martin will throw out Montero. Goldie advances 2 down. Well, fans, it's that time again. Tweet us your fan photo on the Twitter using the hashtag and the whole thing, AZFanPhoto, for your chance to have it shown in our game broadcast, brought to you by AT&T. Oscar and Richard on the clock again.
I talked to Richard about it today. He's very excited after his successful nomination last night. Picked a good picture.
Well, knowing you're easy to play to. You have certain strengths that you like. D-backs logos, maybe water, a lake, a river, some kind of fishing.
Pizza,
that's another no-brainer. Yep. You have your weaknesses, as we all do.
Players, if you happen to get a picture with a player, that's always big.
Shallow center. McCutcheon throws, had the break in, and comes in and can't quite get it. And Goldie will score. Right in the middle of no man's land for Aaron Hill, and it's 3-1.
You called it right. McCutcheon just kind of froze on contact out there in center field. Even though he's got great speed, he had a long way to go to catch up to this one. On a dead run as Neil Walker goes out from his second base position. Polanco couldn't get there from right. And as he goes into his slide, looked like the ball hit his glove, and then his glove hit the ground, and the ball popped out at the same time.
Walker had to back off. Aaron Hill now 13 for his last 31 with runners in scoring position. Been a productive bat with runners on base. Here's Peralta, who walked his first time. There's the strike. So 3 hits now for the D-backs, and they are on the board. Second base, Walker, they'll go the short way, and that's the inning. But the Diamondbacks get one. They trail it 3-1. Him to shoot a hot dog way up here.
Yeah. He has actually overshot the booth several times.
He's got that kind of firepower.
Yes, he does.
All right. But there was no incident with the Pirate.
No, I like the Parrot. He's fun. He's a lot of fun. Now, Youppi, I had some issues with Youppi.
Oh, how can you not like Youppi?
What's a Youppi?
I think it's some kind of French thing, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. Big blob of smelly fur.
Sadly, Youppi no longer with us. Although I think he had a run with the Canadiens.
Yeah, he did some hockey, I think, after the Expos left Montreal.
Milwaukee de Canadiens. 0-1 to Andrew McCutcheon. Struck out his first time. 0 for 3 last night.
There's nobody like D. Baxter.
Well, goes without saying. Andrew McCutcheon loves hitting in this ballpark. Hitting .335 at PNC Park this year, and look at that. You want to know why this might be the best ballpark in baseball? Take a look at that. What a setting. Base hit.
Now the fun starts for Chase Anderson and Miguel Montero. Got to keep an eye on McCutchen over there at first base while focusing on Neil Walker at the plate. McCutchen a perfect 12 for 12 this season in stolen base attempts.
The leadoff man for the Pirates has reached with a base hit in every inning so far. McCutchen aboard. Here's Walker, who singled his first time. In the air, short right. Hill drifting out. Parra coming in. Right fielder will call off the second baseman. One away. Russell Martin.
Goldie's asking Andrew McCutchen, can you believe I didn't get one first place vote? Not one. We know better than that.
It is amazing.
Yeah, it really is amazing. But boy, talk about a core group to build around. How'd you like to have those two guys on the same team?
That'll work. Russell Martin a single his first time. Well, the Pirates have been looking for a first baseman. They can't really settle on a guy to play over there. They tried Andrew Lambo in spring training. That didn't work out. Then he got hurt. They had Sanchez. They acquired Ike Davis. And now have a platoon over there. That's working out okay, not great. Well, they acquired Justin Morneau down the stretch last year.
Well, opponents for these 3 ball games, but they'll be teammates in Minneapolis on July 15th when Fox has the All-Star game. Can't wait.
The All-Star game July 15th only on Fox from Target Field in Minneapolis. And they should both be starting in that game on Fox. 1-0. Oh, Russell Martin 1 for 1 tonight, but his bat has been a little quiet lately. Hitting under 220 over his last 10 games. 1 extra base hit. He has fought through some injury issues this year. Missed almost all of May with a troublesome hamstring injury. Some doing with McCutchen in first, and Anderson is behind 3-0. Ball 4, 2 on, 1 out. Pirates have had multiple base runners in every inning so far against Chase Anderson.
Harkey jumps out of that first base dugout. He's going to head out to the mound and join the conversation that's going on out there right now. Just a lot of pitches for Chase Anderson. You know, we heard him before the ball game. Wanted to pitch to early contact. Work the corners of the strike zone with his fastball, mix in his curve and change up, but he seems to be nibbling an awful lot tonight.
Well, Kirk Gibson says Chase has been really solid every time out, even when he's not all that effective, even noting the game at Dodger Stadium on June 13th, which was his first loss of the season. You'll remember that ball game. Chase really struggled for 5 innings, but Gibby liked the way he battled and managed to get through 5, giving up only 2 runs, even though he walked a career-high 4. Just never had command in that ball game right from the start. Needed 100 pitches to get through 5, but he found a way to survive, giving up only 4 hits. And it's been another start like that here tonight. A big hit, the Gregory Polanco 2-run home run in the second. Here's Ike Davis, who struck out his first time. Didi Gregorius makes a tremendous play there to keep that from going to center field.
Where that athleticism shows up in a lot of different ways. This time saves an error on Chase Anderson on what was a bad pickoff attempt out there at second base. Flying through the air to keep that ball out of center field.
Strike one. One and two on Ike Davis. Randall Delgado throwing in the D-backs bullpen. Chase Anderson has gone at least 5 innings in every start this year. The deepest he's gone into a game is 7 full. That was a win over the Braves at Chase Field June 8th. This is their 2 and 2. But it will be a struggle to get through 5 at this rate. Two. In the air, center field, Ender Inciarte. Peralta coming in from left, and David Peralta will give way to the center fielder. 2 down in the third. Little Bermuda triangle formed underneath that one there with Gregorius at short coming out. And the communication continues.
Anytime the ball's hit that high in the air, more than one defender is going to have an opportunity to possibly make a play. Very important that they communicate.
This would be a big out to get here. You have to be careful with Alvarez. Well, as you mentioned his first time up, can leave the yard at any moment. A single in the second inning in his first at bat.
Good first pitch change up that time from Chase Anderson.
That's one of the things he mentioned.
Yeah. Boy, Alvarez, we've talked about his tremendous power, but he's got that zone down and in where he is deadly. Breaking balls that end up in that location, change-ups, fastballs, anything knee-high inside part of the plate. He likes to golf that ball out of here to right field. Another good change-up.
Well, he led the league in strikeouts last year. He's been a guy who has struck out at least 30% of the time every year he's been in the big leagues. And you can get him to chase off speed stuff, especially at 0-2.
Looks like a fastball up.
It's a piece and stays alive. Alvarez got off to a difficult start. He hit about 170 the first month of the year. A bit better in May. Had a good June. Hit 299 last month. So he's coming around. But still hitting 7th in the order. Another 0-2 on the way. This is there. He gets the strikeout of Alvarez, his 4th of the ball game, and he strands 2 through 3. The D-backs trail the Pirates 3-1. Star Wars Day at Chase Field. Bring out your lightsaber. Join the D-backs in defending the ballpark from the dark side as they take on the Cubs. Only fans who purchase a special Star Wars Day ticket package will get the custom Josh Colementor Jedi bobblehead. Now remember, there are a limited number of Star Wars Day ticket packages available, and you only get the bobblehead through the special offer. So visit dbacks.com/Star Wars for tickets today and get your Josh Colementor Star Wars bobblehead by purchasing the Star Wars Day ticket package. Set for the 4th inning here. D-backs trailing 3-1. There is Josh Colementor in the dugout. Martin Prado leads off the 4th against Charlie Morton. And I can report that Bob Brenly has already polished off his $9 shake. How you feeling?
Brain freeze.
You just crushed that thing.
Pretty tasty.
Oh, for $9. 101. I'm going to submit that as my fan photo. Am I eligible? If I send that to Richard, do I have a shot?
Sure.
All right. I think I got the river in the background, so that helps me. Alvarez at 3rd. What a way.
For $9, it ought to be free refills. Be able to get as many as you want.
That's a good point. I don't know if you can drink more than one, though.
I know.
Feels like there's a gallon of ice cream in that thing. And there might be. Edie Gregorius walked his first time. What do you think of the way the middle infield rotation is going here? Nick Ahmed a couple of games, Didi a couple of games, Aaron Hill is usually out there. Maybe he'll get the occasional day. It's a tough one for Kirk Gibson.
It's a tough one for any manager when you have more than 2 players for those positions. Obviously, you have a backup guy that you can put in there if somebody needs a day off. But you know, for me, those are 2 really key positions. Yeah, we talked about Lou Whitaker and Alan Trammell on that '84 Tigers team last night. And there's something to be said for familiarity, knowing who your double play partner is. Where does he like to throw on a slowly hit grounder? Where does he like to throw on a hard hit grounder? And the more you work together, the more it becomes second nature. It's a little tougher when guys are rotating in and out. I'm sure we'll see Didi possibly slide over to second base from time to time and spell Aaron Hill, and that makes it a little tough on those guys in the middle. I mean, they're not complaining. They love to be in there. They wish they were all in there every day, but I just think those are 2 very, very key positions.
Along the left field line, long run for Alvarez, but he can't get there. And Gregorius will have to go back.
If that ball had dropped fair, Didi might have ended up with a triple.
Yep.
He was around second base when that ball dropped out there in foul territory down the left field line.
Well, I think the reason it's even more problematic than it might normally otherwise would be is because Didi and Ahmed and Chris Owings too, when he's back, these are young guys that have to play.
Yeah, that's why sometimes guys end up back in the minor leagues through no fault of their own. Just the fact that you want to get them regular at bats and regular playing time, and as tough as it is to rotate them in and out and try to make sure everybody's getting the playing time and the at bats they need, sometimes you're better served just having a backup infielder who is just that, a backup infielder. Two regulars that start every day, and unfortunately one of the other young players have to go back to Reno and play every day. That off the front angle, it looked like.
Because even if you come up here, right, and you're at the major league level, but you're not playing consistently, the developmental process just stalls, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, you get plenty of pregame work in. You know, we see it every day. Alan Trammell working tirelessly with those guys on the middle infielder, different aspects of the game every day, turning the double plays, making the backhand play, making the play to your left, charging balls, hitting front. They work on stuff every day, but, you know, actual game action, you can't replace that. You can't simulate that.
You can have all kinds of these discussions.
Sure.
Nick Ahmed and Aaron Hill.
Yeah, I'm sure Nick Ahmed, even though he's not in the lineup tonight, has got his ears wide open. He's listening to everything the veterans are talking about over there in that dugout.
Well, Didi is turning in a tremendous at bat here. At 11 pitches in his first at bat. And now 7 in this one. By Dave McKay at first. Will go for 8 in this AP. Over the mound, Jordy Mercer spins and throws from behind the bag. 2 down.
Most of the time you hit a ball right back over the rubber. It's a base hit into center field, but Jordy Mercer was cheating up the middle of the field just enough to get there and make the play and steal a base hit away from Didi.
There's a lot to like about Didi Gregorius' at bat right there, though. Chase Anderson struck out his first time. So Morton here with a chance for the first 1, 2, 3 inning of the ball game for either starting pitcher. Saw a very well pitched ball game last night. This one has been a little messy. Morton now at 70 pitches in the ball game, 45 for strikes. He's ahead 1 and 2. Strike 3. 4 strikeouts for Morton. Bottom 4 coming up. D-backs trail it 3-1.
legs, long strides, very athletic. So you know what? We just kind of come up with the best possible plan we can come up with the the little data we have on him, and then we kind of basically have to read swings after that.
That's our Geico quote of the game from Diamondbacks pitching coach Mike Harkey. Todd Walsh with you back here at PNC Park. 3-1 bottom of the fourth. Was interesting, Bob. My follow-up question to him about Polanco was something you touched on in the game last night, and he wholeheartedly agreed that the strikeout to walk ratio for a young free swinger is pretty close and not something you normally see, which is of course great concern when you're trying to put a plan together against a guy like that.
Yeah, no question about it. You get a young, aggressive hitter that has a good idea for the strike zone and what he can and cannot handle, and willing to take walks. That's very impressive.
Yep. By the way, Steve, I called the guys at Rampart, Squad 51, on their way. I start an IV with ringers on Bob here. We're not sure if we can tap into the vein, though. It appears to have ice cream in it.
Tell you what, he went through that thing in about an inning and a half. Yeah, he crushed it. Oh, they're good. I feel bad for you, Todd. You're out about $30.
Well, it's a creative way of filing an expense report, as anyone who's traveled knows.
You're the best, Todd.
I'll back you up all the way
when
they come at you with the receipts.
Okay, thanks.
Jordy Mercer. Devon White. Well, you look at Polanco, you kind of see Devon White, number 25, first of all. And Devon White, a guy that was a 7-time Gold Glove outfielder. Sometimes he might hit you 15, 17 homers. Had 120 homer season. Well, 220 homer seasons, actually. Including one for the Diamondbacks, an All-Star in '98. Base hit for Mercer. He's 2 for 2.
And Devon White was the first Diamondbacks All-Star. Boy, could he go get him, man. I mean, he was just legs with a hat on top. He could cover ground out there in the outfield. Diamondbacks have been very fortunate over their history to have some tremendous defensive center fielders come through Bank One Ballpark and later Chase Field.
And here's Polanco. I mean, you look at Devon White, it's funny how players evolve and you make those comparisons as Morton pops up the bunt attempt. You've got Devon White, who is 6'1", 170. And if you want to look at Polanco as a more modern version of that, 6'4", 220. And all the athleticism and, by all accounts, the baseball savvy as well. He has got a great makeup for a 22-year-old kid. And they're thrilled with that part of his game. We talked about how sometimes Yasiel Puig reminds people of Bo Jackson. When you look at the numbers, Puig is a lot bigger than Bo Jackson, and the same kind of comparison is made here. Oh, 2 to Morton. There's the strikeout. That's the 5th for Chase Anderson. And now we'll get another look at Gregory Polanco, who so far has doubled, homered, and scored twice. Both hard hit balls to right. Banged that one about halfway up the out-of-town scoreboard. Had a little issue there at second base, but quickly made up to speed, got to third. This one was just a laser beam into the bleachers out there in right field. And the Pirates, it was reported in the papers here this week, offered Polanco a big deal before he was even called up to the big leagues. An offer that he rejected, reportedly 8 years, $75 million, with a lot of that money coming in option years. That tells you what they think this young man will be at this level.
Well, it was interesting what Mike Harkey said about Polanco. They only have so much information so far because it's very early on in his career. I'm sure they have some video that they've looked at. Advanced scouts have seen him, but you have to read his swing. Watch how he reacts to certain pitches throughout the course of the ball game, and hopefully be able to garner some kind of an advantage from that. Does he have trouble with the fastball in? Is he out on his front foot on off-speed pitches? And you watch all those things from a young hitter and try to determine what kind of hitter is he going to be, what kind of hitter is he right now, and then pitch him accordingly.
Down and away this time.
We know he's quick inside. 2 bullets to right field in this game already. One of them on a curveball, dropped down and in.
He has impressed everyone at this level with his patience up there. He has shown a great ability to lay off pitches outside the strike zone. And the number of pitches he sees per plate appearance is above league average. So he's shown himself to be a patient hitter up there who will wait for his pitch. Another case in point here. It's 3-0. The scout who signed Polanco in the Dominican Republic told the Pirate people back here, look, this kid has got great body control and a quick, compact swing with raw running speed. He said it's like Jim Thome, who runs like Kenny Lofton. Wow. That was the comparison that he put in his report. That'll get your attention. Strike one. He hits like Jim Thome, but runs like Kenny Lofton. That's a pretty good player.
Isn't it? Hit like Mays, run like Hayes.
I don't think we'll see this young man doing too many push-ups in the batter's box. Good pitcher. Took that one for the walk. Let's take a look at the Polanco swing.
Hey, hitting coaches talk about slow feet, quick hands. Yeah, some guys really want to jump out at the baseball. It puts them in a bad hitting position. He was very calm, very slow with his feet, but once he started those hands, that bat got through the zone in a hurry.
Polanco has flown up the Pirates minor league chain. Last year he played A-ball, AA, and AAA. And he was finally called up to the big leagues this year. And he has been something to see. So 2 on, 1 out. Once again, multiple base runners in the inning against Chase Anderson, who's thrown 80 pitches, 50 for strikes. He's got Jordy Mercer at second base, Gregory Polanco at first, and here is Starling Marte, who so far is 0 for 2. Marte drove the game's first run with an RBI groundout following the Polanco double back in the first. The thing I like to watch about Chase Anderson, Bob, in these circumstances is how he seems to stay calm, maintains his poise out there. He's been in a jam, it seems, the entire night here. But he never looks rattled out there. The body language is always encouraging. On the line at third, Prado steps on the bag for the fourth, but throws it over Goldie's head. The ball trickles out into shallow right. And they're able to keep Polanco at third.
Right idea by Martin Prado. Just charge into the bag, try to get ready to throw all in one motion. He just airmails one over Goldie's head. Off the wrong foot that time, just didn't seem to have a good grip on the baseball. Fortunately, it stayed in play rather than bounce up into the seats.
So Polanco is at third, Marte at second, 2 outs. Got first base open here, and Andrew McCutchen up. McCutchen struck out in the first, singled in the third, 1 for 2. Did you pitch around McCutchen here, or just looks like might go after him? Got that strike one.
Well, once you jump ahead in the count, you become a little bit more aggressive. But if this pitch happens to be ball 2, I think they will go ahead and pitch around it. That's ball 2.
Iggy tried to deke the rookie at third. Nothing doing. They got Neil Walker The switch hitting second baseman on deck as the cleanup man.
Walker, a .317 hitter with runners in scoring position this year, so that's no trip to the beach either. But you know, you pick a player or two in that lineup and you say, just don't let this guy beat you, and it would have to be Andrew McCutchen for this Pirates team.
Three and one. Anything through the infield probably makes it a 5-1 ball game.
It's the 21st hitter that Chase Anderson has faced in this ball game. He's had a 3-ball count on 6 of them. That's a tough way to go about it.
87 pitches through 3 2/3. Diamondback bullpen still busy. 3-1. Missed inside, and the bases are loaded with 2 outs for Neil Walker. Third walk issued by Chase Anderson. Randall Delgado has been throwing out there. And he's coming in. Chase Anderson exits, trailing 3-1 with the bases loaded. Back after this. Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you in part by your local Lexus dealers and by Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. PNC Park in Pittsburgh, PA. D-backs trail it 3-1 here in the fourth, and Chase Anderson has left the ball game and left them loaded. He is responsible for 3 base runners out there, and Randall Delgado walks into a bases loaded 2-out mess, his 24th appearance of the year.
He's had the strikeout pitch working lately over his last 3 games. A total of 6 innings. He's punched out 10 opponents. He's a big one right here.
He'll work to Neil Walker, a switch hitter, with Polanco the runner at third, Marte at second, and McCutchen at first. There's strike 1. Walker is best from this left-hand side. This is where he's got 10 of his 11 homers this year and all but 3 of his RBIs.
Pirates have had more plate appearances than any team in the National League with the bases loaded this year. However, they're only batting .164 in those situations. See how high you can hit one.
Give him to pop up.
Pop it up.
Do you elevate to get that?
Higher than high. Yeah, you don't want to make that belt high mistake, but if you get it up there around the letters, Walker's able to pop that ball up to the big part of the field.
Walker hitting an even 200 since he came back from the DL. That was June 24th. He missed 14 games after having an appendectomy. And Randall Delgado comes in and puts out the fire. He leaves them loaded and keeps it a 3-1 ball game. A huge out there for the D-backs bullpen. Century Link, your link to what's next coming up. We'll see Paul Goldschmidt in the 5th. Showed up the 10th inning as we mark the 1-year anniversary of the Yarnell fire with a story of Wade Parker, a Granite Mountain hotshot who lived and breathed baseball. Plus, catch Bronson Arroyo, Aaron Hill, and Mark Trumbo paying a visit to the headquarters of the world-famous Fender Guitar Center. It's the 10th inning, presented by CenturyLink this Sunday after the D-backs and Braves right here on Fox Sports Arizona. How about Randall Delgado coming in and striking out Neil Walker with the bases loaded to keep it a 2-run ball game. Ender Inciarte leads off the 5th against Charlie Morton. Ender so far 0 for 2. He's got a 7-game hitting streak. A roller to first. Ike Davis has it, 1 away.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Gerardo Parra 0 for 2. He is struck out and grounded out. Parra had a 5-hit game against Cleveland last week. Since then, he is 2 for 19. And he looks at ball 1.
Yeah, we've been talking about pitching and closer. Offense has got to get something going here pretty soon. They've scored 1 or 2 runs in 6 of their last 10 games, and they won one of those, a 2-1 victory over the Padres. Got to find a way to start getting some guys on the plate.
I was going to say, with the way San Diego plays this year, and you get decent enough pitching, which they did, you're going to do okay against that Padre lineup, even if you don't get a lot of offense. But not going to cut it against some of these other teams. Alvarez at 3rd, 2 down.
Speaking of the Padres, behind Tyson Ross tonight, they shut out the Reds 3-0. That got a big roar from the crowd here at PNC Park. Never too early to scoreboard watch, I guess. And the Brewers also dropped a 7-4 decision to the Toronto Blue Jays.
Pirates began play tonight, tied with the Reds for 3rd in the Central, 6.5 games behind Milwaukee. 5 pitches, 2 outs in the inning so far for Morton. Here's Goldie, who's 2 for 2. Well, remember the atmosphere here. Last year, I think we were here fairly late in the year. They were ready for the postseason. This city was ready for postseason baseball. Goldie again, his 3rd straight hit. He's just line 3 into center field. He's 3 for 3. I don't know if Charlie Morton got the memo. You're not supposed to throw him strikes.
Apparently he doesn't realize it's a new era for Paul Goldschmidt. Gets a pitch up over the inside part of the plate. Barrels it up once again into center field. Goldie's had more pitches to hit in this game tonight than he probably has in the last 2 weeks.
Seems like it, doesn't it? And the thing about Goldie, it's been 13 games since his last home run. And a lot of that has to do with the walks not getting anything to hit. 13 games since his last homer, only 1 extra base hit during that span. But he's also, during that period, had 19 walks. Patience. So while he's hit about .230 in that 13-game stretch, his on-base percentage is over .480, which is amazing. But it's kind of like the overshift we talked about with Alvarez. Okay, sure, you hold him to the slap single to left, but he's got a single. He's not killing you with the extra base hits. Throw down to first, and Goldie is back in time. Russell Martin really good at throwing out opposing base stealers. One of the best in baseball.
And he likes that pickoff attempt with a left-handed batter at the plate where he can kind of hide behind the hitter. The runner doesn't see him immediately getting in position to throw. How about this for Goldie? He's seen 8 pitches tonight. 4 of them were out of the strike zone. 4 balls, 1 foul ball, 3 hits. 8 pitches.
First fastball he sees or anything hittable, it's been so long he's after it. 2-1 to Miguel Montero. 2-2. Discussion there with Marvin Hudson. Called strike 3. 5th strikeout for Morton. And he strands the 2-out single. Will go to the home half of the 5th. Diamondbacks trail the Pirates 3-1. Stress fracture in his left foot, playing rookie league games at Salt River Fields this week. He was 2 for 3 with a double and 2 RBIs in his first game last night. And the plan for Mark is to start the rehab stint as a DH, then move to the outfield. He could go to AAA Reno next week and hopefully be ready to play when he comes off the DL around the All-Star break. Touki Toussaint makes his professional debut tonight at Salt River. And the news on Chris Owings has been encouraging. The MRI yesterday on his left shoulder showed no structural damage. Kirk Gibson has called it a bruise. They will take a week off from hitting. CO will do his throwing and running, and could be ready to play when he comes off the DL a week from Friday. We'll see, but the news is encouraging for Chris Owings, and certainly good to see Mark Trumbo out there taking some ABs at any level. There are those $9 shakes. Oh, he's a lightweight compared to Bob Brenly. He's only halfway through.
They're just nursing that shake. Come on.
Russell Martin leads off the 5th against Randall Delgado on in relief of Chase Anderson. Delgado came on to get Neil Walker with the bases loaded and 2 outs to end the 4th and struck him out. And now he opens up the 5th against Martin. Martin Davis Alvarez 5, 6, and 7. That is the $9 milkshake at the ballpark.
Trying to avoid the brain freeze by going a sip at a time. I say embrace the brain freeze. Chug it.
Those things hurt, man. Lock you up. You go the corn dog route. Feels like kind of a corn dog day.
Yeah.
The old school way with a cone. Pretty locked in on that shake, I have to say. That's a game face. I'm telling you, they take about a gallon of ice cream and they cram it into that little cup. That's why it's $9. 2-2.
Oh,
Marvin Hudson. Marvin doesn't appear to be feeling great. I know we joked earlier about you and the heat and the whole thing, but the Pirates trainer asked him out a couple of times between innings and talked to Marvin Hudson, who does not appear to be feeling super behind the plate tonight. This is in the air to center. Ender Inciarte at the wall. It's off the wall. Russell Martin into second. His 7th double.
I saw Inciarte make a great running catch up against the barrier in almost an identical spot last night. Russell Martin really put a charge on that ball. I think he thought he got enough to get it out of here, but Inciarte gives it a look, decides to play it on a bounce off the wall, and then his strong throw back to the infield made it a fairly close play at second base.
I got out to the ballpark about 2:30 this afternoon, and Ender Inciarte was the only Diamondback out there, and he was in that little notch at the 399 mark in dead center, practicing jumping up into the wall. Dave McKay was out there. They were working out there for a long time, just the two of them way out in center field against the wall, and Dave was sort of lobbing baseballs up just about the height of the wall, and Ender would jump up and practice turning his body and angling and talking about the fine art of how to position yourself when you go up and try and rob a home run and play that wall. After he went into the bullpen wall last night.
I mean, certainly your instincts take over a little bit when you get back there close to that wall, but there are things you can do to improve your chances of catching a ball hit high off the wall. Man, Dave McKay's as good an outfield instructor as there is in the game. Inciarte on Marte's ball in the 9th inning last night, we saw him get back to the wall and jump, and his shoulders were parallel to the wall as he backed into it. That one grounded to Hill, no problem, as Martin moves up to third base. So I'm sure Dave McKay, after that play last night, saw some things that he thought maybe Ender could improve upon, something to work on moving forward, and got out here very early, as you said, today to work on it.
Yeah, it was a lot of sort of learning how to angle and turn your shoulders and kind of get flush with that wall while extending the glove up. But it was good to see they're out there for a long time working on that. Pedro Alvarez singled and struck out, 1 for 2. Martin, the runner at third, 1 out. And the Diamondback infield creeps in. Well, he has swung through a whole lot of off-speed pitches so far tonight. What do you think about Clint Hurdle as the manager? And people ask him about Pedro Alvarez. Granted, 241, he'd do a little bit better than that, but he's got 13 homers. And Clint Hurdle says, I'm not impressed. He can do better.
Well, that depends on the relationship that you have with the player. I mean, maybe Clint Hurdle's had that same conversation with Pedro Alvarez. I think you can do better. I think you can do more. And Pedro may have even agreed with him. I mean, before you go public with something like that, you better make sure you've got a real good feel for your player and what's going to make him better and what's going to motivate him.
It did seem to be a motivational tactic, not a public snipe at one of his players, more kind of a challenge, if you will. And we'll see how he responds. But it certainly helps when Andrew McCutchen comes out and says the same thing. Yeah, he can do better. Not in this case, however. Second strikeout for Delgado. And that's why they get a little frustrated here with Alvarez from time to time.
Yeah, chasing pitches that he can't really do much with. You see, maybe wants the fastball up. Nice job by Delgado to hit the target at 94 up there above the letters. Gets the swinging strike. I mean, in a roundabout way, in a backhanded way, it's kind of a compliment. The numbers that Alvarez has put up, and your manager and teammates say, yeah, he can do even better than he's doing already. I would take that as kind of a compliment. Yeah, there's more there. I can be better.
Well, with the pitcher on deck, they will give Jordy Mercer a free pass. Mercer tonight has a pair of singles. He scored a run. And they'll work to Morton.
Fourth intentional walk this season for Jordy Mercer, who is hitting .228 coming into play tonight. Guys that get the intentional walks are either the really, really good hitters in the middle of the lineup or the number 8 hitter. Put him on base, pitch to the pitcher.
Yeah, I guess if you're the number 8 here and you come up with first and second base open and 2 outs and the pitcher on deck, you shouldn't sit fastball because you're probably not going to see one. Let Morton hit here. He's thrown 84 pitches in the ball game through 5 innings. So Quentin Hurdle thinks he's got a little more left in the tank. Hits it in the air to left, but Peralta's underneath. And the strategy works. They strand the leadoff double. It stays 3-1. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Aaron Hill leads off the 6th for D-backs. baseball's best gather in Minneapolis as Derek Jeter takes the field in his final All-Star game. It should be an emotional and unforgettable night. Special coverage begins at 1:30 on Fox Sports 1, followed by the 2014 Major League Baseball All-Star game at 4:30. That's July 15th, only on Fox. Aaron Hill leads off the 6th for the D-backs. They trail it 3-1. Charlie Morton back out there, having thrown 84 pitches so far, 53 for strikes. He's not a guy that goes very high into ball games. His high pitch count for the year is 114. That was May 18th in a loss at Yankee Stadium. He's usually somewhere between 95 and 105 pitches, right about that. "6'5" right-hander had elbow surgery in June 2 years ago. Made only 9 starts in 2012 and began last year on the DL. Can't find it here. He's 3-0. And then when he tried to come back, developed shoulder issues. Didn't make his first start last year until the middle of June, and could only make 20 starts last season. But it was a solid arm for them down the second half in their march to the postseason. He's in the air to center field. Andrew McCutchen drifting over toward right. 1 away. Take a look at our Chevron upcoming pitching matchup. Back with you tomorrow for the series finale here from PNC Park on Fox Sports Arizona. Former Phillies great Vance Worley on the mound for the Pirates, and for the Diamondbacks, Brandon McCarthy, who it was reported in papers here this week is the Pirates, reportedly, I use that word, #1 trade deadline target. We'll see. We'll get an up close and personal look. Hard hit, base hit. Polanco over to cut it off. And David Peralta's got a 1-out single. Second time tonight he's been a bit aboard. He had a walk back in the second. There's Brandon McCarthy, tomorrow's starter. Last time through the rotation, when you look at the way Brandon pitched his last time out and the way Wade Miley pitched last night, 2 really impressive outings. Phone ringing in the Pirate bullpen as Morton approaches 100 pitches. It was the Shark Tank last year. Remember all that with Mark Melanson and the Sharks? Like Justin Wilson will start to get loose. There it is, the Shark Tank, the Pirate bullpen. 0-1 to Martin Prado, who's 0 for 2. Double play ball here, slow roller though. Mercer, Walker, they roll it. Another double play hit into by Martin Prado, bottom 6. D-backs trail at 3-1. Andrew McCutchen. We take a look at our top tier player of the game, brought to you by Arco, named National League Player of the Month for June. He had 25 RBIs in 26 games last month, and oh, by the way, hit .343.
8 homers, 12 doubles. He was in the middle of everything offensively for the Pirates in the month of June, as he is in just about every other month.
And leading all National League outfielders in fan voting for the All-Star Game, July 15th, only on Fox. Gregory Polanco, he's been a problem. Doubled and scored in the first, a 2-run homer in the second, and he walked his last time up. The 22-year-old rookie. Funny, he had cooled off a bit coming into tonight. He was 5 for his previous 29. But so far tonight, 2 for 2 with a walk, including a homer. Gregory Polanco, first noticed by scouts in the Dominican Republic as a 17-year-old pitcher back in '09, and no one was really offering him big bonuses or anything. He wasn't even really that thrilled with being a pitcher. But the Pirates had a guy down there, the director of Latin American scouting, and to their credit, he saw something, offered him a $150,000 bonus, but only if he signed as a hitter. And Polanco jumped at the chance. He strikes out to open up the 6th. That's the 3rd strikeout for Randall Delgado, who's done a good job so far in relief of Chase Anderson.
A real nice job in that 5th inning, pitching around the leadoff double by Russell Martin.
Think this is the best role for him?
I think it probably is right now, the way the team is configured. You need somebody to come in on nights like this when the starter has to pull the plug early. You need some innings, give your offense a chance to get back in the ball game. I think occasionally as a starter, Randall just had too much time to think between starts. And then his head was full when he went out there to the mound. He was trying to do too much. I think this is a much better role for him myself. The phone rings, he gets up, he gets loose, he's in the ball game before he has a chance to overanalyze anything. Just go out there with your best stuff and try to execute pitches.
Did you find there were some young starting pitchers when you were managing who could get in their own way like that when they overthought things?
Oh, there were pitchers that I played with that could get in their own way. Yeah, it happens. I mean, when you have 4 days off between outings, I mean, you can imagine as a hitter, if Paul Goldschmidt only played once every 5th day, the kind of pressure he put on himself to be great that 5th day. And some pitchers do the same thing.
Josh Colemencher, when he was moved to the bullpen, talked about the adrenaline rush. He kind of enjoyed it after a while. The phone would ring and he would think, ooh, maybe they want me. And he kind of sprang into action. And he didn't like it at first, but then really grew to enjoy it, he said. And he's a thinker, we know that.
Yeah, and you know, you look, who's the next opponent? 4 days from now, who am I going to pitch against? Oh, geez, I'm pitching against the Braves. Well, you start to subconsciously or consciously look at the Braves information. You look at the scouting reports a little more, and you can just fill your head with so much information that your body doesn't do what you want it to do because you're overthinking everything.
Don't think, you can only hurt the ball.
That's right.
He's gone 3-2 on Starling Marte. He's been a problem for the Diamondbacks. Marte has hit in all 11 games he's played against Arizona, and in those 11 games has hit .383. Of course, had the big 2-run double off Addison Reed that tied it in the ninth last night and scored the winning run.
I mean, in Chicago, Jeff Samar just said that's why he chose baseball over football. He didn't like sitting around for a week waiting to go compete again. He wanted to get out there as quickly as possible. And early in his career, he was a relief pitcher, so he was on call every day, and he liked that.
3-2. Ball 4. Second walk issued by Delgado. The first was intentional. It says something about this young Pirate outfield that they've constructed and they're so excited about, because you've got, well, you started with McCutchen in center, then they developed Marte, the left fielder, and now Polanco is the final piece, the right fielder. And it says something about this trio of outfielders that these guys are hitting 1, 2, and 3 in the order.
Doing a real good job of it, I might add.
A good young group. McCutchen has struck out, singled, and walked. Eighth in the National League in hitting and 8th in RBIs.
'18 steals on the season for Marte over there at first base. He has been caught 6 times, but definitely looking to get himself a jump there with 1 out in the inning, and McCutchen in the middle of the order coming up to the plate.
Oh, 1 on Andrew McCutchen.
Really no surprise that the Rockies sit atop this list. But there you see the Pirates, 4th best outfield combined average in the majors.
And you have to watch Marte, who was 3rd in the league in stolen bases last year with 41, just behind E.Y. Jr. and Gene Segura. McCutchen is 27. Marte is 25. Polanco is 22. Marte bluffs and falls down, trying to get back to the bag, and just does make it. I think he realized he wasn't going to get safely in a second and barely got back to first safely.
Yeah, actually he stole first right here. He got out there and slipped, knows he's got to get back to the bag quickly. Very frustrated with himself. I think he thought he had a good enough jump to steal the base that time, but lost his footing, had to slam on the brakes and busted back to first to avoid getting picked off.
He's a mess. Well, he succeeded in bringing the game to a halt. To 85 miles an hour.
That's been a good location to attack Andrew McCutchen tonight. Chase Anderson got him to chase a changeup down and in. That time the pitch off the plate inside. McCutchen can't hold up, can't get to it.
Really came back in on the right-hand hitter. Where do you want to go here on 1 and 2?
For me, something in the dirt. He rarely chases, but you might get him to chase a breaking ball in the dirt.
Now, is there any thought if you throw it in the dirt and he doesn't chase, you give Marte an excellent chance to steal second?
Well, that certainly enters into it, and sometimes that's why base stealers run on the counts they do, knowing the catcher and what pitch he's likely to call. Back in the days when Tony Pena was a great catcher here for the Pirates for years and years, he called a lot of fastballs with the runner on first base because he wanted to give himself the best chance to throw that runner out. Occasionally it probably wasn't the right pitch to throw to the hitter, but Tony wanted to make sure he had a good ball to handle and throw to second base if he had to go that direction.
Tony Pena back there almost sitting on the ground with that one leg extended way out to the side. A ball and 2 strikes. Marte takes off, pitches inside, throw to second is not in time. Starling Marte, his 19th stolen base.
Well, after all that, a tough pitch for Miggy to handle anyway. Up and in by the time he drags it across his body and unloads it to second base. Marte is easily in with his 19th stolen base.
In scoring position with 1 out and a 2-2 count on the reigning NL MVP. And he struck him out second time tonight. Andrew McCutchen is struck out. 2 down.
Another good changeup on the inner third of the plate, tailing down and in. McCutchen right over the top.
Pirates now 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position. And with 2 outs, here's Neil Walker, a single in the first, 1 for 3. Remember, Delgado struck Walker out with the bases loaded and 2 outs when he came on in the 4th. Hard hit center field, Inciarte. Came in, broke back, came in again, but there's the final outs. So they strand the 1-out walk. We're through 6. D-backs trail at 3-1. Arizona Diamondbacks soccer scarf. Many plans are available for as few as 4 games. They start at only $48. Plus, if you spend $100 or more, you'll also get free D-Bucks. You can use those on concessions and merchandise throughout Chase Field. For more information, visit dbacks.com/mini-plan, and we'll see you at the ballpark. New pitcher for the Pirates, on in relief of Charlie Morton. This is the left-hander Justin Wilson.
36th appearance of the season for Wilson. You see he struck out better than a batter per inning. He also walked 17 on the season. Opponents hitting only .217 against him. Throws a lot of fastballs. Also has a curve and an occasional straight changeup.
He'll come in to work to the number 8 hitter, Didi Gregorius. Pitcher's spot is due up next, and Cody Ross is in the on-deck circle. Didi has walked and grounded out 0 for 1.
And has seen a boatload of pitches in his previous 2 at-bats. He saw 20 pitches, 11 in his first at-bat, 9 in the second at-bat. Just as a point of comparison, Ender Inciarte, Gerardo Parra, and Paul Goldschmidt combined in 9 plate appearances saw 24 pitches.
Alvarez creeping in on the grass at third, but now with a count 0-2, he'll back off. There are the pitches that Didi has seen so far. He's hit safely in 3 straight games and 4 of his last 5. Wilson throwing hard. You mentioned it. A lot of fastballs. 5 straight scoreless appearances for Justin Wilson. He has not given up a home run since July of last season. Brings up Gregorius to open up the 7th.
Well, the pitch before the strike 3 there to Didi Gregorius. Watch Russell Martin behind the plate. This is called chasing a pitch. It just kept moving further in that direction. He got his thumb underneath the ball. Didn't have time to turn his glove the other direction, thumb up. Yeah, that'll get you some thumb surgery after your career is over. You catch enough pitches like that.
Cody Ross, 218 and a homer. He will hit for the pitcher. Cody 4 for 16 as a pinch hitter this year. 94 misses. It's 1-0. Cody Ross, over his last 19 games, 8 of them starts, is hitting .343. And he's got a base hit into left, so 1-out single for Cody. So make it now 5 for 17 as a pinch hitter this year.
Pitch up on the inside part of the plate. It's that top spin grounder. Scoots it right through the left side of the infield for a 1-out knock. Roll around to the top of the order now, and Ender Inciarte.
The iron lefty Joe Thatcher looks ready. Ender Inciarte so far 0 for 3. 7-game hit streak on the line tonight for Ender. And he spanks that to center, but right at McCutchen.
That's the approach you see a lot of left-handed hitters take against a left-handed pitcher, especially a guy they haven't seen a lot of. Just jump on the first strike you see. Ender hit it right on the button, but right at Andrew McCutchen.
So it's up to Gerardo Parra to keep this going. Parra 0 for 3 and 2 for his last 20. Wilson does that strange thing, Bob, where he takes the ball as he's delivering it out of the glove and then kind of pats it back in.
Yeah, a lot of guys do something like that. J.J. Putz used to do that, kind of bang the ball in his glove before delivering it. Chase Anderson, not quite as exaggerated, but he kind of takes the ball out of his glove a little bit and then puts it back in.
Right at the top of his leg kick, you'll see it. The glove pat right here. .95, 1-2.
Not sure if that serves any useful purpose or reminds Wilson of something he wants to do in his delivery, or whether it's just a habit he got into and can't break.
Take a look. You constantly hear pitchers talking about trying to hide the baseball and to avoid giving hitters a look at it. Not that he's holding it out there to see, but it's a little interesting.
Well, we talked a lot this season about hitters who simplify their approach at the plate, eliminate a lot of the wasted, unnecessary movement, but it seems like pitchers are adding more and more unnecessary movement out there on the mound.
Talked to Oliver Perez about that today,
yeah.
In fact. With the El Tiante, 1-2. Goldie 3 for 3 so far. He would be next. Diamondbacks have been out hit 9-6. They trail it 3-1. Russell Martin drops the final out of the inning right there.
It's always frustrating for a catcher, but there's really nothing you can do about it. That ball is diverted just slightly offline. Hit him up near the tips of the fingers and rattled around and out.
And Parr is still alive, 2-2.
I mentioned Wilson throws a lot of fastballs. You can see why. Consistently in the mid to upper 90s. Nice, easy delivery. A ball just explodes out of his hand.
8th pitch of the at-bat coming up. Can get it up as high as 96. Two on the way. Running around a second. Easy play for Walker. Stretch time at PNC. D-backs down 3-1.
They're all a little over 80 degrees, relative humidity at 54%. My last check, and guys, I've touched on this story before, but I took this photo last night about this time. Remember, the Diamondbacks pitchers and catchers take 2 jersey tops out for each game, and they dry them off between innings. But when you think of Major League Baseball, you know, you think of the 5-star hotels, the charter flights, the $9 milkshakes. You do the best you can when you're out on the road. That's Miguel Montero's jersey top hanging on the giant fan.
I tell you what, I was down on the field for batting practice, and I went in the clubhouse tunnel there. I stood in front of that thing for about 5 minutes, extended like Tim Robbins in Shawshank Redemption, and just let it wash over me.
There's a lot of images flying through my head at the end of that movie. I don't want to go there. I took my shirt off as well, but it didn't dry. But, Bob, I'm sure you've been through many nights like that.
Oh yeah, I mean you can actually gain weight while you're losing weight. I mean, you're sweating, you're losing a lot of body fluids, but your uniform, your pants, your shirts, your socks, your undershirt just get totally drenched. It's kind of very heavy, weighty feeling.
Do you think Red really worked with Tim Robbins when he got out of the Shawshank prison? Steve, do you think they actually had a nice, successful business venture with the boating?
Yeah, I would have gone there, I tell you that.
Yeah.
Josh Harrison with a lefty out there, and Joe Thatcher. He gets Martin to line out. Ike Davis was scheduled up, so Harrison will take the at-bat from the right-hand side, hitting an even .300 on the year. And he got a big ovation when he came in. They like this guy a lot. Plays everywhere, like we talked about last night. 2 for 16 as a pinch hitter this season, including a home run. Got back out over the middle of the plate. Harrison got a piece of it. 1-2.
Yeah, Josh Harrison was actually a teammate at the University of Cincinnati with Diamondback Tony Campana. Yeah, talk about some speed at the top of your order.
Harrison, a 6th round pick by the Cubs in the 08 draft out of Cincinnati. Pirates got him at the deadline a year later. Part of a deal for Tom Gorzolani and John Grabo. This is on the ground to Gregorius at short. 2 up, 2 down against the iron lefty Joe Thatcher. Well, Alvarez is scheduled up next. The left-hand hitter, but this will be Gabby Sanchez from the right-hand side.
Yeah, kind of an easy change here for Clint Hurdle. Harrison will stay in the game and move to third base. Sanchez will stay in the game and move to first.
And Bob, you mentioned last night how effective Gabby Sanchez has been as a pinch hitter off the bench for Clint Hurdle this year.
Yeah, 10 for 34 with a homer and 5 driven in. Not an easy role to fill.
We saw Sanchez get the start at first last night against the lefty Wade Miley. Sanchez can be a handful when he gets a hold of one. 33 hits this year, 17 for extra bases. Fights that one off, but it's out of play. Alvarez is a guy that has at times struggled badly against left-hand pitching. A little better this year, but not a whole lot. And so Sanchez takes the at-bat. 1-2. Lays off and misses. 2-2. Sanchez in his start last night 0 for 3, struck out twice. Ike Davis pinch hit for him in the 9th and got the walk-off winner. This is in the air to right. Gerardo Parra has it, and that's the inning. It's a 1-2-3-7 for Joe Thatcher. Century Link, your link to what's next. Paul Goldschmidt leads it off in the 8th. brought to you in part by Lone View Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone View Casino. And by Cox Communications. Bundle and save with Cox. Back at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, PA, Diamondbacks trail Pirates 3-1, set for the top of the 8th inning. Paul Goldschmidt will lead it off against the new Pirate pitcher. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mr. Tony Watson.
Good numbers for Tony Watson this season. He's kind of their version of Oliver Perez, I guess. He's equally effective against righties and lefties. I had to check the numbers because Goldie's leading it off for the Diamondbacks. So he's got a boatload of right-handed relievers down there, but it's the lefty Tony Watson who'll take the ball.
You see the .96 ERA. He has made 21 straight scoreless appearances. Gabby Sanchez stays in the ball game, takes over at first for Ike Davis, and Josh Harrison replaces Alvarez at third. Goldie 3 for 3. A double in the first, singled and scored in the third. That's been the D-backs' only run so far. Came in on Aaron Hill RBI single with 2 outs. And he singled his last time. A ball, 3 hits, driven into center field for Goldie so far tonight. Down the line at third, of course, right to Harrison. Well, we talked about this last night, how they think maybe eventually you move Alvarez over to first and let Harrison finally have the spot to play every day and let him take over at third. Doesn't seem to have the defensive issues over there, particularly throwing that Pedro Alvarez has from time to time.
Yeah, Josh Harrison, a real solid fundamental ball player. That's why he's such a valuable piece for Clint Hurdle. We talked about it last night. He could play second, third, corner outfields. Could probably play center field in a pinch if necessary. And you don't lose anything defensively no matter where you put him on the field. Made a nice throw from right field last night to gun down Gerardo Parra at the plate. You see he's been all over the diamond. And we mentioned when he goes to left field, that's generally to give McCutchen a day off, and Marte moves over to play center.
That's fouled away by Miguel Montero. And GM Neil Huntington, as we told you last night, said Harrison has the ability to be a regular player that plays irregular positions, which they think is a blessing for the organization. But it's going to make it hard on him. Certainly hasn't affected his offense this year. He's had a very good year at the plate. 1-1 on Miguel Montero. Miggy trying to extend a 6-game hit streak. So far he's 0 for 2 with a walk. Getting a lot of response on the Twitter about the Tony Watson introduction for you fans out there.
You're gonna have to help me there.
Oh, it's Coming to America. 2-2.
What is that, velvet? This is beautiful.
Remember that? Frank Sinatra was in here last week.
I just watch them and let the art flow over me, and then I leave it at the theater.
Some you take with you. 3-2.
Ooh, ouch.
I think he's sprinting down to take his base at first. And the D-backs will get the tying run at the plate with 1 out in the 8th.
Miggy wears that protective guard on that right elbow. Fortunately, that hit him on the back of the biceps, or triceps rather. It appeared. Smile on his face. Couldn't hurt too bad. Easy for me to say. I'm sitting up here about 9 miles away from the field.
You really are, too. Aaron Hill has driven in the only Diamondback run, a 2-out single in the 3rd. Pirates have 9 hits. They have stranded 10. D-backs 6 hits. They have left 7. 5 singles and a Goldie double. Center field, Andrew McCutchen. Well, it's that time again, as promised earlier in the ball game. Our AT&T fan photo of the game on the Twitter with the whole thing in the hashtag. And the winner is, as selected by Richard, Sharon. Uh-oh.
Is that a cat?
I think that's a deal breaker.
Oh, Richard.
Wow. That's worse than Webby's rodent picture.
He does have the purple shirt on. I'll give him that. He tried to go to the purple vault, but boy.
Look, he's hiding behind the monitor.
He should be.
That's wow. I'm told it was a theme, Cat in the Hat.
Okay, well.
But I think it didn't work.
Serious backslide, Richard. Wow. After a strong performance last night.
I had high hopes. I submitted a photo of my own. I don't know how it did in the selection process. Apparently it wasn't a winner. Peralta. This is the one I turned in. It was not the winner. I thought this had a chance. Bob Brenly and the milkshake.
Crush it.
$9 down the drain.
Quickly, Martin Prado read the bunt, went back to the bag at third, and then threw to Aaron Hill covering the bag. Very rare 2-5-4 double play.
And our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play of the game. Home half of the 8th. It's 3-1 at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. And the new pitcher for the Diamondbacks is Matt Stites. And we have seen this kid throw hard. Occasionally it's a little bit of a high wire act at this point in his young career, but he has got the stuff and the velocity to get out of jams when he creates them. And there's a lot to like about what we've seen so far. Jordy Mercer, the shortstop, will lead it off in the 8th. Pitcher spot is due up next. And Travis Snyder is in the on-deck circle for the Pirates. So it looks like Mercer and Snyder and Polanco, 8-9-1 in the 8th inning. Mercer so far aboard 3 times, 2 singles and an intentional walk. He has scored a run. And you see that .234 batting average. That's down about 60 points from what it was last year when he took over the starting shortstop job from Clint Barmas. But a good night at the plate tonight. Out of Tologa, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State's 1 for 3 last night. You'll remember it was Mercer who had the first hit off Wade Miley, that swing and bunt with 2 outs in the 5th. After Miley had retired the first 14 Pirates. Over the mound and into center. Mercer 3 for 3. There's Travis Snyder hitting in the pitcher's spot. Snyder hitting .294 as a pinch hitter this year. That includes a double and a home run. Former first-round pick by the Jays in the '06 draft. He was the 14th player selected overall that year, and it just never panned out for him in Toronto. Snyder hit .248 in parts of 5 seasons with the Blue Jays. Only 31 home runs. Pirates got him at the deadline a couple of years ago for Brad Lincoln. This is so far typical Matt Stites outing. Throwing hard, stuff is moving, but he's given up base hits and walks, gets himself into trouble, and then so far has found a way to escape. Two and one now, and he's got that. I know the Pirates have a guy in Alvarez they call El Toro, but Matt Stites has got that. He's got that front foot thing going.
Yeah, we're talking about relief pitchers and how they all seem to have a few oddities, a few weird things they do. And Stites has something out there with the left foot kind of pawing at the dirt before coming to a set position.
Once more over the mound. Didi has to stop to get back to the bag at second. Goldie cannot close the glove at first. They have a play at second base again, but Snyder's in there. Very athletic play by Gregorius, but they couldn't quite turn two. Some quick feet.
Yeah, tough to be going hard to your left just to get to the ball, then slam on the brakes and get back to the bag at first, all while getting ready to throw the ball to Goldie.
I think Goldie ever touched that with a glove.
Yeah, I think he did. Just didn't get it in the glove. Stretched out there and tipped off the webbing of that first baseman's mitt just far enough for Snyder to advance.
So Snyder's at second with 1 out, and here is our APS Energy All-Star. It's Gregory Polanco, the rookie. A double, a homer, and a walk. He has scored twice and driven in 2. Three errors tonight by the D-backs. Snyder at second, 1 out. Pirates tonight 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position. They have stranded 10.
That's out of here.
In the air to left. Peralta comes in, 2 down.
We would assume Polanco will be back in the lineup against the right-hander Brandon McCarthy yesterday. And from what we've seen tonight, I would say show him inside where he can't get to it and try to get him out of the way. He's proven to me in 4 at-bats tonight, 5 at-bats, he's really quick inside. Maybe show him a pitch off the plate inside, especially up above the belt, and then try to get him out with soft stuff away, fastballs tailing away. Make him hit the ball to the opposite field.
Starling Marte. Mark Melanson throwing for the Pirates. Marte 0 for 3 tonight, but hitting better than .350 over his last 17 games. Puts that in the air to right. Gerardo Parra will watch it bounce off the wall. Snyder comes in and scores, and Marte has an RBI double, his 16th, and it's 4-1.
Marte showing good opposite field power. That ball down and out over the plate. Gerardo Parra realized very quickly he couldn't catch that ball. He thought it was up in the seats. It hits high off that out-of-town scoreboard for a double and an RBI for Marte.
Top of the order, Polanco has driven in 2. Marte has driven in 2. They're 1 and 2 hitters. And now Stites will work to Andrew McCutchen. He has singled, walked, and struck out twice. Melanson is ready. 98, 0-1, pumped it up. Again, another strike, 0-2. Got him on the protector. They usually miss.
Just below the guard, just between the two pads that protect the inside and outside of the ankle. Of course.
The best laid plans. Well, you do that a few times over the course of 162,
and they don't go away. I mean, he's going to carry a bruise and some swelling on that left foot probably for the next couple of weeks.
Center, and Ciarte drifting over, and a drop between he and Peralta. Communication issues again, and it's 5-1. They had a little episode earlier in the ball game where they had to have a discussion afterward after they almost got together, and that time it was, I got it, you take it. And that one really did get McCutchen. He's limping around out there.
Peralta took kind of an odd line to that ball in left center field. Ciarte, we know, can cover a ton of ground, but they got close to each other and both gave way. The ball rolls right between them.
I guess he figured it's either caught or it's an RBI single. Either way, he can barely move on that thing. And he will stay on there at first with Neil Walker stepping in now. He's 1 for 4.
These are the first runs that Matt Stites has given up in 7 ball games since being recalled from the minor leagues. You talk about pitching around some traffic, getting himself into and out of jams. At some point, it's going to catch up to you.
In his defense, he did have the throwing error on Didi, who made a very nice play to get the out at second, and then the ball that should have been caught right there, too. But it's best not to put yourself in that position. Certainly not when you can throw 98 like Matt has done tonight. thrown 16 pitches, 13 for strikes, and he's ahead 0-2. Missed at 97, 2-2.
With the lead now at 4 runs, you wonder if Clint Hurdle won't pull the plug on Andrew McCutchen after fouling that ball off his foot, limping down to first base. Could bring in Clint Barmas, put him at third, and then put Josh Harrison in left, move Marte to center. Get on that position merry-go-round, but he just didn't look good running down to first base.
Clint Barmas. 2-2. There's the strikeout, but the Pirates get 2, and as we go to the 9th, they lead it 5-1. Game summary. Diamondbacks have been out hit 12-6. They trail at 5-1. Chase Anderson had a rough night. So just didn't seem to have his command.
Threw an awful lot of pitches to get through his 3 2/3 innings of work. Just wasn't fine with the fastball. His changeup was really good at times in the ball game tonight. Got most of his 5 strikeouts on that changeup.
And so it's 5-1 as we head to the 9th. The man known here as Mark the Shark from the Shark Tank. It's Mark Melanson. His 42nd appearance this year. He has converted 15 of 18 save opportunities, but he's in there tonight with a 4-run lead.
Big-time strike thrower. Has held opponents to a 196 batting average. Has a 4-seamer, a cutter, and a curveball.
Some defensive changes behind him. Travis Snyder, who hit for the pitcher, stays in the game and plays left. Marte moves over to center and takes over before Andrew McCutchen. So you were right, Bob. They have pulled the plug on McCutchen, who was limping badly after fouling that pitch off his ankle. Martin Prado opens up the 9th. Looks at strike 1.
Well, it gives McCutchen a little bit of a head start to get up in that training room, get a bag of ice on that ankle, and try to get him ready to go again tomorrow.
Prado 0 for 3. He has struck out, grounded out twice, once into a double play. And it's been a season's worth of ground balls for Martin Prado. Just not giving it up into the air or driving it like we saw him last year. Another grounder. This one to second. It's under a diving Walker, and Prado's aboard with a leadoff single.
nasty cutter by Melanson. 92, 93 miles an hour with some flat movement away from a right-handed hitter into a left-handed hitter. And that time Prado just found that hole on the right side.
Well, here's Didi, so far 0 for 2 with a walk. He struck out looking his last time up against Wilson, the left-hander. Didi has hit safely in 3 straight and 4 or 5. There's that pull power down the right field line, and a tremendous catch by the ball girl down there. Nicely done.
Well, 2 good plays. Make a great catch on a line drive and give it to a kid. Nice going. That ball was hit hard.
Yeah, that's smoked.
No problem.
Flinch.
No problem.
They're on their feet down there. That might be the one. Fox Sports 1. Melanson strikes out Didi, 1 away. And now with a pitcher spot 2 up, we'll see Roger Kieschnick. Kieschnick 2 for 8 as a pinch hitter this year with 4 strikeouts. Roger Kieschnick, 5 hits in 16 at bats since he rejoined the D-backs from Reno. It's a good ballpark, I would think, for Roger to hit in with that short right field porch. He's shown good power.
For those 2 runs that the Pirates were able to put on the board in the bottom half of the 8th inning, sure took some of the stress away from Mark Melanson and Clint Hurdle. Kieschnick would represent the tying run right now if it were not for those 2 runs in the 8th.
And there, and the ball that dropped between 2 outfielders, 1 and 2. Roger Kieschnick from Rockwall, Texas. That sounds like that's a good name for a town. Rockwall. Sturdy people in Rockwall, Texas.
I would think so.
1 and 2. This misses there, 2 and 2. Nothing from Marvin Hudson behind the plate.
Yeah, tip of the cap to Marvin. He's managed to last the entire ball game tonight. We mentioned it earlier. He wasn't feeling so good in the early part of the ball game. Pirates trainer came out a couple times to check on him between innings, but looks like he's going to be able to go 9.
I know you were concerned.
Well, yeah, I don't want anybody to get hurt or get sick or anything like that. I just want you to get all the calls right. That's all.
Every single one, all the time. So down and away here on Kieschnick.
Double play ball.
And that's into center, a base hit. So Roger Kieschnick Gives the D-backs 2 on, 1 out for the top of the order, Ender Inciarte.
Not really a complete shift, but Neil Walker was playing far enough to his left over in the hole between first and second to allow that one to sneak through into center field.
Ender 0 for 4. He hit one on the screws to center that was right at McCutchen his last time up. He's got a 7-game hit streak on the line. Swinging for the downs there. It's 0-1. Got Prado, the runner, at second. Kieschnick at first, 1 out. Ooh, that got him. You could hear him scream from up here.
On the back foot.
Ryan DePanfilo comes out to have a look. Ender took that shot to the head in Houston, ended up on the 7-day concussion DL, and now he's limping around here in Pittsburgh. You would wonder if somebody could develop some kind of shoe, and I know you want to have it light and be able to run around, but something with some kind of plate or something on the top of the foot.
Well, they've tried different things. Even back to my playing days, we talked about Tony Pena earlier. You know, taking foul balls off the toes, and back then the shin guards didn't extend out to the end of your shoe.
You can see the umpire's shoe right there. Look at the shoes that the umpires wear.
And they have steel toes underneath that padding on top of the shoe. But obviously the umpire doesn't have to try to leg out an infield hit or cut off a ball in the gap. But Tony Pena had these little inserts he would put over the ends of his cleats to protect his toes. Kind of like a steel-toed shoe, but on the outside. But that was just for defense. It wasn't for hitting. You can see how the shin guards have been modified now to try to protect the toes. Boy, do I wish they would have had those when I played.
You walking a little better these days?
Man, I'm telling you, there's nothing worse. I will take a foul ball anywhere in the body other than the big toe. It lasts for a month. This won't go away.
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
In the air, left field. Snyder's there. 2 outs. Take a look at our Subway in-game box score. Pirates added those 2 runs in the 8th inning. That has changed the equation here in the 9th, as Bob mentioned. And all the runs, or most of them anyway, driven in by the top of the order. 2 RBIs for Polanco, the 2-run homer. And 2 RBIs for Marte.
There are a lot of crooked numbers up there at the top, and Jordy Mercer hiding down there in that 8 spot has kind of cleaned up any mess that was left after they got through the middle of their order.
They're on their feet here at PNC. Morrow for 4. 2 on, 2 out.
Take a bat in the ball game right here. 4-run game. If Gerardo Parra can find a way to get on there and get Goldie to the plate, representing the possible tying run with a grand slam.
Goldie, 13 games since his last homer. 1-0 to Parra. Little chopper, slow roller, tough play for Walker, who has to come in, shovel pass, and they get him in time, and that's the ball game. Pirates have taken the first 2 games of this series. A little less drama tonight. They win this one 5-1. And it's our first extended look, Bob, at Gregory Polanco, and so far you see why there's so much excitement.
Pitchers in the National League are going to have to figure him out and figure him out quickly. Good-looking young ball player.
Well, the Diamondbacks 1 run on 8 hits. The 3 errors didn't help either, but the offense is still a concern. They have now scored 1 or 2 runs in 7 of their last 11 games, and they are 4-7 over that 11-game stretch. They drop this one 5-1. They'll turn to Brandon McCarthy to try and salvage the series finale tomorrow night. We'll have much more for you from PNC Park here in Pittsburgh when we continue. Diamondbacks Live is next. D-backs lose this one 5-1. Back with more after this.